The comics world that I came up in, the alternative comics world of the 90s, is all about DIY, self-publishing. Like, it's all just do it. It's like very punk. That sense of it is my job to go out there and get it is part of my artistic DNA. I'm self-taught as an author. I'm self-taught as a cartoonist. I never took a comics class. And when I see people feeling disempowered, and I see the pain that comes from family members who don't understand and friends who aren't, responsive to this, and just not being seen, not being heard, and like what that feels like to people, it just makes me furious. Oh my God, it's like the worst. My name is Jessica. I am a cartoonist, a teacher, and a community leader, and I'm a creator. I think if you'd asked me, when I was in college or when I graduated from college, what was I going to do with my life? I don't think I'd have an answer at all. I didn't know. I was making comics as sort of an extracurricular thing, but I didn't see that as a viable path, which also I think contributes to my determination now to help people understand those things. I did 5 solo issues. First 4 were photocopied, and the 5th one I won a Xeric grant, and Xeric grant was the only then, and possibly still the only, grant specifically for self-publishing. It was founded by Peter Laird, who is the writer of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was a big turning point. As a result of that, I got a contract to work with Fantagraphics Books, who published my heroes and who I wanted to be like. So then I published 4 more individual issues of Art Babe with them. And then I moved to Mexico City with Matt Madden, my husband, then not husband. Ira Glass got in touch with me. So he calls me on the phone in Mexico. It was the weirdest thing ever. So awesome, to ask if I was interested in doing a comic book about how they make their show. I was from Chicago, he's from Chicago. We actually would stream This American Life over our dial-up modem in Mexico City. So that's how much we liked it. So I did a book in collaboration with him called Radio and Illustrated Guide, which sort of lays out the process of how they make their show. I would run into people every once in a while who said that their brother had become a radio producer because of my book, or like this had been a big turning point for them, or they bought 30 of them and keep giving them away, and like those kinds of things, which just, when you're a cartoonist, somebody saying that your book changed their life is like not an ordinary circumstance. When I was trying to figure out what my next step was going to be after I was wrapping up Out on the Wire, I was like, well, what am I going to do next? I didn't want to plunge right back into the publication schedule. And so I was talking to my audience around what's next, what do you need? And what I heard from people was just this cry for help about like procrastination and feeling stuck and just feeling like helpless and like you couldn't get this work done. So that was clear. I was like, I can do something about that. Like, I know how to help with that. I can help in some way. Making comics takes a whole lot of organization and planning and long-term commitment, especially when you're doing longer form things like graphic novels. And so understanding project management and how to see the big picture and break it down into steps and getting all that done, those are things that I have a lot of practice in and I've always been pretty good at. And so right now, my main thing that I do is I lead the Creative Focus Workshop in the Autonomous Creative Collective. The Creative Focus Workshop is a course, an online course and group coaching program designed to help people who have really big, awesome, ambitious projects they want to complete and are coming up against procrastination and perfectionism, rearrange their lives around their creative work at the center and make sure that those most important things actually happen. And then the Autonomous Creative Collective is a community for current students as well as alumni to continue working on building a creative life sort of longer term. The biggest challenge in starting this business was that I had no idea how to start a business or run a business. And what's ironic about it that I've realized sort of through this whole process is that like most other creative people, I already had a business. I had a business of being an author. I just didn't know that that was a business. I mean, if anybody told me I had a business model when I was like 35, I just would have like barfed a little in my mouth. You know, it was just like, what? Business language, marketing language felt like a personal affront to me when I was younger. And I had to go through a long process of translating business jargon into concepts I could understand. So the first thing I had to learn was that marketing is not inherently evil. That was a tough one, but you know, got there. Most creative people I know, and I include myself in this, are like highly suspicious of marketing and any kind of business training and anything that reeks of trying to sell anything or commerce sort of mixing in with creative work. I just feel like societally, creative people in general are very disempowered. I mean, artists are so isolated. Our practice typically is alone, and I feel like the same societal messages that tell us that we're not particularly capable of running our lives, that we're making bad choices, reinforce this idea that if you can't pull it off on your own, if you admit to weakness, then you're not the real thing. I believe admitting to weakness and admitting to vulnerability is a sign of strength. You know, it's courageous and strong. I am really proud of the community that we've built at the Autonomous Creative Collective. The people who are there are incredible, and they're so committed to their own work, and they're so committed to each other. Every time somebody posts something and says, hey, I need help with this, people pile in and, you know, offer their own experiences and support. I mean, I really couldn't have expected or predicted that. I know creative people are awesome, but this is there's a very special kind of alchemy that happens in the group that's really kind of amazing. It's a really good feeling.